Welcome back to the channel, everyone. So we all know that racing with a controller sucks. Upgrading to a wheel and pedals will take your entertainment factor to the next level. Staying close to your racing hardware while on a chair with wheels is next to impossible. The moment you press on that brake to avoid smashing into a wall, you shoot backwards, smashing into a wall. Yeah, you could lock your wheels or make a rig to hold your chair in place. And that's not a bad option if you are really on a tight budget. But if you have a few bucks to spare, you need to tie all those components together. That's where the star of this video comes in. And guess what? It's a new product from Next Level Racing. I'm Jesse, this is Bartman's Bits, and today we're taking a look at the Victory Cockpit. Let's get to it. First up, let's check out the specs on this. It's a tubular frame, it can hold wheelbases up to 10 Newton meters, it's got a no-frills, compact design, and includes a seat that is adjustable forward and back. The price is set at $299, and that's including free shipping. Just like the Next Level Racing's GT Light line, this is not compatible with accessories that attach to the cockpit, like the attached monitor mounts, keyboard and mouse trays, or the motion platforms. Those are reserved for the higher end cockpits and come with a hefty price increase. This will slot into the freestanding monitor mounts, so if you do want to put a monitor or monitors up front, there are options. Building this was a breeze, and it only took me around an hour to get it completely set up. Tools are included, and the manual was clear and easy to follow. If you want to see the complete build video, you can check that out up here. I put on some Fanatec gear and drove this around for a solid week, averaging a few hours a day. Here are my thoughts. Now, there are a few things to look at when reviewing a racing cockpit: adjustability, compatibility, sturdyability, and comfort. Let's take a look at how this stacks up in those categories. First up is adjustability. It's great. Starting with the seat, you can move it forward and back with a single lever on the left side. Now, the wheelbase angle can be adjusted up and down a handful of degrees. This will help you get the ideal steering wheel angle to match your driving style. For me, it's tilted just back slightly, like you would find in, well, every car. There isn't a huge amount of range here, but for my setup at least, I haven't really wanted any more. You can change the height of the wheelbase using these sliders here. It's plenty of range for pretty much anyone taking a seat in this cockpit. The pedals have a crazy amount of slots to move your pedals forward, back, left, and right to get the ideal position. You can also adjust the whole pedal tray angle up and down using the 3 holes here. It isn't an incredible amount of range, so if you like to put your pedals up closer to vertical, this will not accommodate your crazy needs.
No! God, please, no! No!
The shifter location can be changed forward and back using the handful of threaded holes. Now, you can't adjust the shifter height, which I would definitely like to have seen. It's not a bad position for me, but some of you out there might have wanted to be able to add some height to this position. The distance from the thigh was perfect and allowed me to hit that reverse gear without smacking my leg. You can also move the shifter, or I guess the handbrake if you fancy, up to the side of the wheelbase using the mounting holes up there. Or if you're a lefty, you can mount it over on the left side. Overall, it was capable of handling my 6-foot height with ease. Moving on to compatibility. It's outstanding, with hole patterns for pretty much every brand of hardware out there. The Camus C12 fit without issue. The Fanatec CSL DD has the 3-hole pattern required, and well, that's kind of all I have for testing. With the amount of holes that I'm seeing in the shift plate and wheelbase plate, I'm pretty sure whatever hardware you have is going to fit. Same with the pedals. The slots are plentiful and wide enough to fit all major pedal sets. The Fanatec CSL pedals I have installed pain-free. On to sturdyability. This is a big one for me. My journey into racing simulation started with a desk-mounted Logitech G27 all the way back from 2009. Yeah, that one that I'm sure you all started out on, or might still be using. I took the plunge many years back and got myself a Playseat Evolution cockpit. I used that for a while, and then I didn't. It wasn't good, and I sold it after a couple of uses. The center pedestal design rocked back and forth, and that angled adjustment for the wheelbase height just did not fit with my driving position. And pushing hard on the brake pedal would bend the plate down to the point where I thought it was going to snap. This is a completely different experience. There is slight movement on the wheelbase posts, but it's not a lot, and it's partially due to this only having 1 brace point. If there was a way to add a brace from this point down, it would really stiffen it up. As it is, it doesn't take away from the experience and is more of a nitpick from my side. The seat feels very sturdy and did not bend when I pushed back during heavy braking, and neither did the pedal plate. Overall, the driving experience felt perfectly solid. Even the shifter didn't move a bit when banging through the gears. something I have experienced on other cockpits in this class. There are 6 feet that this sits on with grippy pads on the bottom of each to prevent this from moving around or rattling when in use. Those are adjustable in case you have uneven floors. Now I believe it uses the same bolt size as the wheels they offer, so you might be able to get a pack and swap those out if you need to move this around. As mentioned before, this can handle wheelbases up to 10 Newton meters, but I think it's sturdy enough to bolt on something a little bigger. I had the C12 on there and it's full 12 Newton meters and this thing did not budge. The target audience for this is someone on a budget, so 10 Newton meters will cover just about all of the lower to mid-range wheelbases. Finally, let's talk about comfort. I don't typically participate in the 24-hour Le Mans when sitting down for some racing fun, so I can't speak to the really long-term comfort. What usually happens is I hop in for a quick Dirt Rally 2 session, then end up driving around for like, I don't know, 4 hours before realizing it's 2 a.m. Now I've done this a couple times in the Victory Cockpit and did not feel any fatigue. The seat is comfortable enough. That's it. Just enough. It's not as plush as something like the ERS3 that I have in my other cockpit, but that thing costs as much as this whole cockpit does, so I wasn't expecting it to be on the same level. The adjustability meant I could dial in the perfect position for the wheel, pedals, and shifter. No complaints there. A huge bonus on this type of setup as opposed to that center pedestal cockpit is the fact that you can rest your legs on each side as you drive. And an added bonus is that the tubular designs means that when you do rest your legs against that point, it's pretty comfortable. Now the seat does not recline, which might be a real bummer for some. This does add complexity though, and it would definitely raise the cost. This is a budget-minded cockpit, so keeping that cost down is crucial. Now I usually have an issue with the shoulder supports in racing seats as they aren't wide enough and cause me to pull my shoulders in, which is pretty uncomfortable. This is one of the main reasons I like the ERS3 on my current cockpit. It's a lot wider on the shoulders and fit is so much better. Now you can check out my review of that up here. The seat included with the Victory Cockpit is not quite as good as the ERS3, but it is still wide enough to not bother me too much. I'd say that this will fit the average person perfectly. The headrest portion was a little short for my liking, with the top landing right at the pivot point between my head and my neck. Now it is soft enough that this didn't really bother me when I was driving, and since I'm not in a real car, I don't expect to be, thrown back into the seat too often. Again, for the majority of people, this seat is gonna work just fine. The fabric used is PU leather around the outside and then suede for the middle and bottom sections. This does match well with the suede on my steering wheel, and yeah, that has nothing to do with how this cockpit performs, but it is a nice touch. Now let's talk price. $299 for everything you see here. Seat and shifter plate included. Shipping included. That is the same price for their GT Lite Pro model, and in my opinion, unless space is a huge concern and you need to get a folding cockpit, this is the best option in this price range. Stepping up significantly in price to something like the FGT at $1,000 will get you more adjustability. It also gives you the ability to slap on a bunch of accessories and the capability to handle some of the beefier wheelbases. At that point though, you are way outside of the budget class. For those of you that have a wheelbase attached to your desk, this is a very logical next step if you don't have to pack up your cockpit at the end of each session. For my final thoughts here, $299 gets you a lot of bang for the buck. I like the design. The contrasting black and white, that's a nice touch. It's extremely sturdy and comfortable, and it can handle a wide range of wheelbases, pedals, and shifters, or handbrakes. I'm a huge fan of the white accents on the seat and wheelbase supports, so much so that I'd like to see this on more products in the future. I think that Next Level Racing just knocked it out of the park with the Victory Cockpit, and I had a really pleasant experience building it and a blast driving in it. Now I highly recommend checking this out if you're looking to upgrade your driving experience. If you want to check out the Victory Cockpit, then head down to the description where you'll find a link to the product page as well as my website and other products I use in these videos. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.